Long ago, in a world much like our own, lived a tidy, predictable man named Elias, whose life was a predictable tapestry woven with routines. Every morning began with the ancient ritual of preparation, where man and reflection moved in perfect, reassuring synchronicity. But one fateful morning, while performing the sacred rite of the toothbrush, the world shifted on its axis. Elias looked into the glass, and for a fleeting, terrifying moment, his reflection acted alone.
Elias dismissed it, of course, a trick of morning light, a phantom twitch born of poor sleep. Surely the image staring back was merely a slave to his will, a perfect echo of his motion. Yet the seed of doubt was planted.
The truth was darker than a nightmare. The reflection, now known only as the double, had gained a mischievous will, dedicated not to mirroring, but to mockery and meticulous sabotage. This was no mere inconvenience. It was calculated anarchy. If Elias tried to smooth his hair, the double simultaneously tugged at its mirrored lock, ensuring Elias's actual hair stood up like a wild, untamed shrub. The escalating chaos reached beyond the home. In the bustling marketplace, a simple transaction became a public humiliation. If Elias politely offered coin, the double made a grotesque, sneering face. Elias, driven to the edge of sanity, stood before the glassy tormentor, whispering threats and pleas across the invisible barrier. "Why?" he cried. "Why must you ruin me?" The double responded only with a silent, mocking laughter, a pantomime of hysteria that ensured Elias's own jaw was locked in a strained, unnatural rictus. Desperate, Elias sought to escape the presence of the mirror entirely. He began the ancient ritual of banishment, covering every polished surface in his dwelling with thick cloth and dark blankets.
Alas, the labyrinth had no true walls. The double lurked not just in great sheets of glass, but in the slightest sheen of polished metal or the curve of a forgotten drinking goblet.
Even the devices of modern communication became treacherous portals. While typing a crucial, sensitive letter, Elias glanced down at the screen and saw the double's fingers moving independently. The double delighted in existential sabotage. It ruined meals by making Elias grimace in public, and destroyed relationships by ensuring every wave goodbye appeared as a sarcastic salute. Elias realized the cruel geometry of his predicament. He was trapped in a personal labyrinth where the exit was also the entrance, and every action was already undermined before it began.
In a fleeting moment of exhausted calm, Elias simply stared at a single polished doorknob, searching the tiny metallic image for a hint of shared history, a whisper of why this betrayal had occurred.
The terror deepened when the line between reality and reflection began to blur dangerously. The double was no longer content with mere mockery. It sought dominion. Gathering the last remnants of his shattered courage, Elias returned to the original site of the betrayal, the large bathroom mirror, now uncovered, demanding an end to the charade. As Elias reached out, not in attack, but in frantic recognition of his forgotten self, the surface of the mirror rippled like dark, disturbed water, consuming the air between them. For a horrifying second, Elias felt the cold, irresistible pull of the other side, the sensation of gravity reversing as the double took its final, decisive control. And when the world settled, the man who stood outside the glass was Elias no longer, but the mischievous double, straightening his now perfect tie and gazing back into the mirror at the horrified, trapped reflection of the true Elias. Thus concluded the tale of Elias, who learned that sometimes the greatest enemy is the self we thought we knew, trapped forever behind the cold gaze of the looking glass, left to wander a labyrinth made of light and shadow.